It's not about politics, it's about football.
This is a simple game.
We're going to run the ball, and we're going to pass the ball. We're just going to play football, really.
How good of a football player are you?
I just get it and try to spin it. That's all.
I just love the game.
It really is the best time of the year.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to It's Just Football. I'm Trevor Sikkema. That is Mike Renner. We're going to talk about plenty of things on today's show. We're going to talk about the thrilling overtime. I get to say it again, Mike. Primetime game between the Denver Broncos and the Los Angeles Chargers last night. We're going to get to some stats that matter that we saw from not just Monday Night Football, but over the weekend. We've got, of course, it's Tuesday, our dogs of the week from this past week's NFL action. And then we're gonna bring back the crystal ball segment as well. We did that a couple of weeks ago, Mike. We gave our crystal ball predictions for some teams, some players, some coaches, what we see in the future for them. And I think that's gonna be a lot of fun. How you doing today, buddy?
Doing fantastic. I enjoyed the game last night. I'll say the Broncos, you can shit on them all they want for playing ugly games. They play close games. 2 overtime games this year, 2 one-point games this year. Comes down to the wire.
The final scores, I actually looked this up right before the show because I did want to talk about this. The final scores of Denver Broncos games, really any Russell Wilson game since he got into the league, are hilarious. We have so far this year 17-16, 16-9, 11-10, 32-23, 12-9, and 19-16. 19-16 looks like the most normal score that we've had yet for the Denver Broncos.
Yeah, they've just been, I mean, they're a mess. There's no other way to sugarcoat it. Offensively, this team is in shambles.
We're going to dive into that. We're going to dive into that and a whole lot more. What's up to everybody who's watching the show live in the chat? Appreciate you guys joining us. Chat's already popping off, Mike. We have a new tradition, I guess, that has just started maybe today or the last couple of days that people just get in the chat and they name a random NFL player. They're just like random NFL player of the day. I submitted Amobi Okoye for my random NFL player of the day. We've got Chris Chambers. I saw that he was a random player of the day. Delta O'Neal, a random player of the day. Got Brian Cushing, Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis. Like, people are just getting in the chat and naming a random player, and then the rest of the chat's just like, ooh, good one. Good. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good poll. I actually love this tradition. I'm fully embracing it for you guys. Every show, if you're in the pre-chat show,
throw a random
NFL player. We want to hear.
I just went Najee Davenport, former Miami Hurricane.
That's a good one.
Pooped in his girlfriend's closet. That's a true story. He pooped in his girlfriend's closet. You never heard that story?
How do you know that?
He was drafted by the Packers after that happened. That was back in college. He did it.
Was that in the scouting report?
Yeah, that's why he fell. He fell in the 4th round that year. No. Knocked him down boards.
How do you know this stuff? That's
he's a Packer.
That's why you're the lead draft analyst, because you do your homework on
due diligence. That's some due diligence.
Your poo diligence, if you will. God, I hate myself. Somebody save me. What's up to everybody in the production suite? We still don't have Quinn, but we got Eli. I think Eli's sitting in the main chair. Eli, the intern, sitting in the main chair, giving us a salute. He's got the matching Nike hat and the matching Nike hoodie. Oh, yeah. My guy looks sponsored AF.
It's an early 90s look right there.
Eli, you're representing for interns everywhere. How we feel this morning, my guy?
I'm doing what I can. I mean, gotta show up for the fellow interns around the country. Gotta be on the best show, morning show in football, and gotta do what I can.
There you go. That's exactly what I get. That's the energy that I want to get from the intern who's pushing the buttons back there, making it all happen, making us look good, which Lord knows that's a difficult job. I am told, though, Quinn, in his world travels, has still given us a question of the day. Can we get to the question of the day to kick things off on the show? We got that? Here we go.
1. Howdy, guys. Saw the show yesterday, and no, I am not dead, and neither are the Los Angeles Chargers, because Justin Herbert threw 57 passes last night and did not record a touchdown pass. First player in NFL history to ever do that. But 3 active NFL quarterbacks have thrown 55 or more passes in a game and also not recorded a touchdown pass. Oh. Who are they?
This is good. Quinn's doing great stuff.
55.
Quinn's doing great stuff with these questions of the day. 3 active quarterbacks in the NFL have thrown for 55 or more passes in a single game and failed to record a touchdown. By the way, I don't remember, actually, I'm gonna look this up, but did you see that there was a book that tweeted last night that they were just juicing the line for Justin Herbert any touchdown.
Oh, yes, I
did you see this?
Yeah, it went from -800 to +100.
To +100. Brother, it's free
it's
money.
Like one of those, free money
And they were
bets.
just like, all bet. How much money did that book make last night?
They had to go nuts. Those are like those promotional
get
giveaways
involved
where
in the game.
because they know they're going to make it back up by getting you in the ecosystem.
Do you have a guess here?
My first thought was Jared Goff. He's just been in a lot of games where all of a sudden he's passing a ton, trying to come back, especially when he's with the Rams or even with the Lions, then doesn't throw a touchdown.
Jared Goff's a good one.
That was my initial thought, but
I think Matthew Stafford's another candidate for a lot of passing attempts. But
oh yeah, that's a good one because he with that 1 year with the Lions went over like 700 pass attempts.
Yeah, and they stunk. So that's the other one that comes to mind. Matt Ryan comes to mind for some reason.
Yeah. Well, I like the Flacco call. Someone in the chat just said Joe Flacco.
Ooh,
I like that.
Not bad.
2 of the 3 are now on different teams. That would make sense for Stafford, Goff, and Flacco, unfortunately.
So it's 3. I like our initial names to the table of
team that they started with.
Oh yeah, you're right.
So
I like Goff. I like Stafford.
Mm-hmm.
Who else is on the same team? It's kind of tough.
55 no touties.
Dak?
Possibly.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Dak's had a couple of games where he's thrown a ton.
Debating. I don't know.
I kind of like those 3 to start.
Yeah.
We'll revisit it throughout the show. It's question of the day, which means that throughout the entire show, we'll be able to check back in on it. So you guys got plenty of time to think about it. Brock said Jameis. Oh, man, Jameis.
But not with the Saints, right? Because he hadn't played enough games. Or I guess if he changed teams, he could have been with the Bucs.
It could have been with the Bucs.
But he still threw touchdowns, right? Like
Lord.
He still did.
It felt like a million touchdowns. Yeah. Jameis is a decent guess. I think Brock shouted that out for Jameis.
Mm-hmm.
Zach did as well. So that's a good one. Okay, I like those. This is a decent starting point. You guys can think about it throughout the show, and we can revisit here. We've got a couple of funny refresh the timelines that I do want to get to. We haven't been doing refresh the timeline at the start of every show, but there was at least one that I definitely wanted to get to. It was an Eagles fan that I was about to say had the opportunity of a lifetime, but my guy probably manifested this and made it happen himself. If you guys have not seen this video, this man was a part of the Philadelphia Eagles for maybe 15 seconds, and it would have been probably the most exciting 15 seconds in him running through the tunnel. He was, look at this. You see him, it's right there. Dude, look at that form. The turn, the towel wave, he sells it, man. He looks like he was supposed to be there.
He also looks hammered, I will say,
which
plays a big factor in that. My favorite, though, was, I think it was it was Zach McPherson.
Yes.
Tweeting out, I was like, who is this guy next to me? As he's running right next to a random guy. But it's
because he sells it,
yeah,
I think.
I could not stop laughing when I read Zach McPherson's tweet. That one was fantastic. Just because, he didn't look out of place, right? Like, he is wearing almost what looks like could be official Eagles gear.
Yep.
He's kind of hyping it up as if he's part of the crew. And then all of a sudden someone realizes, I want to know how he got in there in the first place, though, because he had to get into the tunnel somehow. But fantastic job by him.
So I tried to look this up because I tried to want to give context to the story, and I could not find anywhere yet how he made it to that point, how he got to that point with those players. So
let's get him on the show. If you're watching right now,
Eli, you're trying to be the best intern? Get this dude on the show. Call jail or wherever he is currently. Yeah. Call collect. Get this guy on the show. See if they'll do a Zoom interview.
I'll do the best I can. I'll do some research after the show.
Definitely an honorary dog.
I don't think he looked hammered. He looks like he was from an episode of The League.
He kind of, Here's my question. Here's my overarching question to it, and I'm asking everybody in the chat this as well. Would you do it? Would you go through all of that to run through the tunnel? And obviously, you got to think of where the Eagles are. This is a team that has Super Bowl aspirations at this point. This isn't some shitty Eagles team that oh cool, I ran through the tunnel, funny story. If the Eagles go and win the NFC Championship and they even win the Super Bowl later, you get to tell this story as you ran through the tunnel with this potential Super Bowl winning Eagles team. Now, this man probably never allowed to go to an Eagles game again. Yeah. Let's just assume that because trespassing, getting through multiple lines of security, he can never go to an Eagles game again. Would you do it? Would you do it for that moment, for that clip, for that story, for that experience?
No, probably not. I enjoy it. Well, Eagles game, sure. Yeah, I don't need to go to an Eagles game.
Okay. No, I'm talking about your favorite.
Packers game. No.
Your favorite team. If you got banned from Lambeau, that would suck.
That would suck. I would be very upset. My family has season tickets. They would not be happy with me. But maybe.
I wouldn't do it. No, I wouldn't do it. Felipe says no. Carlos says no. Nolan says, hell yeah, he'd do it. I mean, like, it is an elite story that you get to tell. Yeah. And that is kind of a funny clip there. There was, if you kept the clip playing and you kept the audio, somebody in the background while he's getting escorted away by security is like, what were you thinking? What do you mean? Like, the guy clearly knew what he was thinking.
It's pretty obvious thought process there. There's, maybe it's not a correct thought process, but It's a pretty easy one to figure out.
Steven said, and be immortalized? Yes, absolutely. Bonker said that man is a dog of the week. Yeah, I didn't name him as a dog, but you're right. That would be a good attempt. Joe says no. I would fail in an attempt to even get in there. Drake said we'll probably forget about this dude in a week. Yeah, but he won't, right? You will have this story for your friends forever. Even if we're all going to move on, we all move on from absolutely everything. So. Rushman said I'd miss security with the tasers. Oh, man. All right, well, seems like the overwhelming is a no. I agree on this desk, it's a no. We wouldn't want to get banned from our favorite team's football stadiums. But the other refresh timeline news is actual news in the NFL. Robbie Anderson got traded. So the Robbie Anderson saga of whatever he was arguing with his wide receiver coach on the sideline of the Carolina Panthers game against the Los Angeles Rams this weekend. There we have the clip right there. You can see getting in a little bit of a shouting match, an altercation. It's like that tweet from that movie clip where it's like, I hope you have a great day. Oh, I hope you have a better day. That's what I imagine that they're saying to each other. It's a family-friendly show. He gets then kicked off the sidelines, and then not 24 hours later, he's traded to the Arizona Cardinals for a 2023 6th-round pick and a 2024 7th-round pick. Mike, your reactions on that trade?
Yeah, the Cardinals had to do it because they just lost Hollywood Brown for the season. I guess they didn't have to do it, but that is why they did it. They were obviously all in, pushing their chips to the table a little bit with this roster, trying to make whatever it is work out, despite everyone on the outside agreeing that this team kind of stinks. So it's kind of a difference in the building of how they view this roster versus, how they're viewed around the rest of the league. But this is another kind of win-now move for a Cardinals team that, this is it. This is your last years of Kyler Murray being cheap before his contract starts to escalate. And once it starts to escalate, with their draft track record, how it's been, with the talent they have in that roster, it could get ugly.
Yeah, we're gonna get to a little bit more in depth into the Cardinals and their wide receiver situation because they also are getting DeAndre Hopkins back. We're going to get to that in a second with Stats That Matter. Oh, Beardman's getting in on it. Beardman, who was the chat champ from yesterday, have to shout this out. He's weighing in on the fan running through the tunnel with their team. I would do it to the opposing team and then change into the rival's kit halfway through. Use the word kit, not uniform.
Kit. It must be English.
We across the pond here, Beardman Dan? We across the pond there? I actually like using the word kit, but I always feel weird saying it here. Like I'm going to get roasted. Mm-hmm. I'm always just like, ooh, that's a sick kit. And people were like, what do you do? What is that? What do you mean? So I like the Beardman's giving me some confidence here because I actually like the term a lot. Let's hit some stats that matter, though. Let's first talk about Monday Night Football, and then we are going to talk about the Cardinals a little bit because that trade's a big deal. That goes into it, and so does DeAndre Hopkins, one of the best wide receivers in the NFL, returning. That goes into it as well. For Monday Night Football, though, I've talked about this many times before. Chargers offense, Justin Herbert, I know he's still hurt. That injury, he's not going to be right for a while. But, man, you look at the average depth of target. We talked about this last week. Average depth of target for Justin Herbert on the season was 6.8. That was the sixth lowest. Last night it was 5.9. It was lower.
And that includes a Hail Mary.
You're right. That includes Hail Mary and a couple of different passes deep down the field. I don't know, man. It seems like this is truly, there is no point in asking the Chargers to be any different. This is who they are. And whether Justin Herbert is healthy or not, this is who their identity is going to be under Joe Lombardi, their offense coordinator.
Some of that's also, I will say, affected by the fact that we're not counting the countless pass interference penalties that DeMar Mathis had. I think he had 4 on the day. They were all like deeper targets down the football field. Those obviously don't count as attempts, so they're not in that stat. But that's, the fact that guys are getting interfered with also speaks to the root of the problem. They're not getting open. These are not separators in this receiving core. They have big-bodied,
does feel like
physical, catch-point guys.
Yeah.
And so the offense is just not built. And it's why everyone was giving them the speed wide receiver last draft and mock drafts. It's just not built for those explosive plays to take advantage of that arm right now.
The thoughts of Jameson Williams being with the Los Angeles Chargers.
Yeah. Robbie Anderson could have been nicer.
Oh, okay.
Could have been nice.
All right. Okay. All right. I'm trying to look at the chat and what they were saying about Robbie Anderson. Tunga said Robbie Anderson's not good. Wow. Just getting straight to the point.
He's all right.
Walt said the Steve Keim's worst GM in the league. Wow. We're getting there.
No comment.
We're getting we're getting there. It's not going well. It's not going well for the Arizona Cardinals. You know what? Okay, before we talk about the Denver Broncos, let's just get into the Cardinals and where they currently are. They're obviously adding Robbie Anderson to their squad. But is Robbie going to be that much better than what Marquise Brown was for them lately? They certainly hope so, but even then it's just a one-on-one replacement. The big difference for the Cardinals has to be getting DeAndre Hopkins back because that offense is bad right now. It's just totally out of sorts. They are not working together. Cliff is not in sync with Kyler. Kyler is making some plays but leaving a bunch on the field because there's no rhythm in what's going on, and it feels like that has been the way since DeAndre Hopkins has not been in the lineup.
Yeah.
I gathered a couple of stats that we've had since 2020. So since DeAndre Hopkins' first year with the Arizona Cardinals, the offense with him and without him is night and day. And you can say, okay, this is one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. Duh, they're going to be a little bit better. But, brother, it's not even close. Like, this team has been awful without DeAndre Hopkins. And the most important stat amongst all those stats right there, look at the red zone. It's the second to last stat that we have there on those two columns. Red zone passing grade without DeAndre Hopkins is 45.4. With DeAndre Hopkins, it's 75. They've had no answers in the short areas with Hopkins not on the team. So they better hope that they get back to those numbers or it's just going to keep being ugly for the Cardinals.
And it's because of how this offense is set up, right? It's the guys on the outside wide receivers run such a limited route tree compared to most offenses around the NFL. They are running a lot of goes, a lot of digs, like a lot of vertical tree stuff. They don't have, the corpse of AJ Green. Oh, that was kind of mean. The elder AJ Green is not a vertical tree guy anymore. He's not really any sort of route guy anymore at his age. But they don't have it. So when you don't have that guy on the outside running those routes, Kyler Murray's just not going to throw them. This is what we're seeing. And when he does, they haven't had any success in those. So that's why you get Greg Dortch getting a dozen targets in a game, is because those are the only routes that even have a modicum of chance of success of working out. So getting him back will be huge because he at least opens up that option in that offense, which is why you see that being such a night and day difference when he's on the field when he's not.
Man, it's I guess you could kind of have to do this a little bit, but I don't know how the Cardinals got here with the extensions. I'm talking about the extensions with Kyler Murray, with Steve Keim, with Cliff Kingsbury. Like, how did we get to this point? Now, it's the same thing as business. Sometimes you'd rather retain guys than try to go out and get a new one, right? The devil is sometimes better than the one that you don't. If you think that you have a high-impact player, a high-ceiling player in Kyler Murray, rather than just cut it and move on from it, you'd probably say, okay, we have this guy in the building. Let's instead figure it out. So I can understand how we got to that point of retaining Kyler, but what's Kingsbury and Keim shown you over the last couple of years?
Keim's shown me the worst draft track record of any GM in the NFL currently. You want me to just read off his first round picks? Because I'm going to.
Sure.
I don't care if you don't want me to.
Sure.
First round pick.
If you have children listening to the podcast, please avert their ears.
2013, drafted Jonathan Cooper, a guard with the 7th overall pick, turned out to not even be a starting caliber guard. Dayon Buchanan, 2014. DJ Humphries, 2015, probably his best pick in terms of where he got him to what he got. 2016, Robert Nkemdiche. 2017, Hassan Reddick, 13th overall pick. Didn't do shit with the Cardinals. 2018, Josh Rosen, 10th overall pick.
Yikes.
1 year. Kyler Murray, good pick, 2019, but they had the number 1 overall pick that year. 2020, Isaiah Simmons, 8th overall pick. Can't even see the field, can't even be a starter for this team right now. Zaven Collins, 16th overall pick, doing nothing. Back-to-back linebackers, back-to-back years, just eschewing everything about draft value, positional value, about targeting valuable positions to build a roster. And then this year, obviously, didn't have a first-round pick. But one hit, and it was the number 1 overall pick. Maybe DJ Humphries you can call a hit. That was probably his second best pick.
A hit. I
call him a hit. 24th overall pick.
Yeah.
2 hits in 9 years. Wow.
It's bad. Not good. It's not a good track record.
It's your number one.
Even knowing that the draft is certainly, there is a crapshoot element of it. It's not good. The numbers have to be better there. We got some love in the chat for Greg Dortch. Daniel Quell, they're both typed in all caps, free Greg Dortch. So Brock said, let Greg cook. Man, I didn't know this was this much of a pro Greg Dortch chat, but I guess that is the case here.
I will say, Steve Keim, what he did do was fleece the only GM that's certifiably worse than him in Bill O'Brien. So that was his best move.
Oh, right, to get DeAndre Hopkins. Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. You do have to give him his props. If we're going to criticize him, you do have to give him his props. Cole Street in the chat said that Kyler tries too much with his legs. Has to be because of his height. He never stays in the pocket. It's a mess. Drake says Kyler just cannot rein in his mistakes, fumbles, forces passes. You got to definitely tighten up there. Yeah, Rico said probably doesn't help that he has to move around the pocket regardless to see the field because he doesn't have the height. I mean, it's definitely we're not even like going after a guy for being short. Like that's
part of his game.
True.
You have to
it's
keep
true.
Around, sure.
Yeah, you got to be able to see over the line of scrimmage. The last stat that mattered, and it gives me a chance to talk about the Denver Broncos defense because for as much as a lot of people harp on the offense, like to use Russell Wilson as the subject here, Nathaniel Hackett as the subject here, their defense has been fantastic, specifically Baron Browning. Man, moving him to the edge has been such a fantastic move for this team. Last night, 1 sack, 3 pressures, an interception, a fumble recovery. 4th best pass rush grade among edge rushers this season in Baron Browning. Ejiro Evero, the defense coordinator there, man, he is putting on a clinic this year with how he is utilizing all of those players. Denver, very quietly, 3rd in the NFL in yards per game allowed, 5th in the NFL in passing yards per game allowed, and 4th in points per game allowed. They are a top 5 defense in so many different statistical categories. And as you start to talk about next head coach candidates, I know he's young, he's defense coordinator for the first time this year, but Evero is going to get a lot of looks. He has been a defensive assistant under guys like Monty Kiffin, Wade Phillips, Dom Capers. I mean, this guy has been all around the league for the last decade, learning from some of the best defensive minds that we've seen over that period of time. So he's doing an incredible job. Vic Fangio as well. Forgot to mention Vic that he was behind, but man, just doing such an incredible job there with that defense. So had to give them a shout out. That's definitely a stat that matters as the offense is still trying to figure itself out. Defense clearly keeping them in games with some stout play.
Yeah, it's a travesty that their offense has been as bad as it has been because the defense has been one of the best in the NFL. Like this edge, I don't want to say even trio. It's edge like quad. Like they got 4 guys off the edge that can get after opposing quarterbacks between Baron Browning and his massive breakout year. Randy Gregory obviously doesn't play in this game, but he's been good when healthy on the football field. Bradley Chubb, obviously we know him, former top 5 pick, going to get paid after this season. And then Nick Benito, the rookie, has looked good at times too. There is some real deal juice off the edge. I'm not sure there's a more athletic edge group in the NFL right now. And that includes Dallas Cowboys.
They are playing incredibly well. All right, ready to get into it? We have had people already submit so many different dogs of the week. It's time to get to everybody's favorite segment. Mike?
Dogs.
Do we have the video? There it is.
Dog. He gets after it. He's a dog. Dog. He scored 5 touchdowns. Dog. He's a dog. He's a dog. He is a dog. Absolutely.
Dogs of the week, baby. We got 3. We're bringing 3 each to the table. I got my 3 dogs of the week. Mike's got his 3 dogs of the week. As we go through the segment, let us know who you want to nominate as a dog of the week. We'll be going through the chat throughout the whole segment, giving guys plenty of shout outs because there were a lot of players to choose from this week. So y'all going to be on it. Tell us who you think should be a dog of the week. Mike, I'm going to start with you. Who is your first guy?
My first dog of the week, and it wasn't a losing effort, but David Bakhtiari, Green Bay Packers left tackle. Have to give him a shout out because December 31st, 2020, damn near 2 years ago, he tore his ACL. Could not come back last year, played all of 27 snaps in a Week 18 game against Detroit Lions, and then was shut down. Complications after that ACL surgery, so missed all of 2021. Comes back this year, had to have another offseason surgery to clean up those complications, is getting rotated in the first 3 games, in and out the first 3 games that he plays. Actually played almost a full game against New England, but rotated in and out against Tampa Bay and the Giants. This week, the highest grade left tackle in football, 1 pressure allowed. David Bakhtiari looks back, folks. Held Carl Lawson, shut him down in this game. The rest of the offensive line, Not so much, but David Bakhtiari had to give him a dog of the week for the comeback that he has had. So
Carl Lawson played really well the week before, too.
Yeah.
Carl Lawson was on fire, it felt like, lately. Shutting him down, it's good. They need him, right? That's what all Packers fans have been leaning on, waiting for this guy to come back. Yeah, but when Bakhtiari comes back, And so, obviously, when he's been in the game, he's been fantastic. So that's a very good shout-out there for a dog of the week. We've already got, I think Felipe said, okay, Homer, to you. Just shouting out a Packers one as your very first dog of the week. No. He played well. He played.
People like that, 2 years of not playing football has to be the most frustrating shit imaginable when you are a left tackle of his caliber. So to come back, persevere, hats off.
First dog of the week for me had to be Josh Allen. It had to be Josh Allen.
Yeah.
What I love so much about this Dog of the Week segment is that we can give shout-outs to anybody. And you and I try to give shout-outs to guys that we're not talking about as much throughout the week, a true dog. But how do I not give one of my dogs of the week to Josh Allen for what he was able to do? You go into Kansas City, you face the Giants that are the Chiefs, you have all the expectations there with you. There's no excuses. No excuses for this Bills team, the way they're constructed, and they went out and they just played fantastic this week. First in passing grade, first in overall grade, first in big time throws, only one turnover-worthy play, 117.6 QB rating, and he also added those 32 rushing yards, 37 yards after contact, which I thought was funny. Of course, you have a total where he's getting hit in the backfield, and that guy's still making positives out of negatives. Josh Allen was as advertised as a franchise QB, as a guy who can win a Super Bowl, and as a potential MVP this season. He was all of that in what was his toughest situation to date, a game that had all the pressure on it. He performed as good as you could possibly want him to. Josh Allen had to be a dog of the week for me.
That was the most obvious of the dogs of the week. My next one, I'm going to go a couple of rookies with my next two. My first one, though, Alec Pierce, Indianapolis Colts, wide receiver, their second-round pick, 53 overall, looking like a little DK Metcalf light in that Colts offense. Now, obviously paired with a quarterback that's not suited to the strengths of the vertical route tree that Pierce has been so good on so far this season. But the game winner, as you'll see here, on the go route, under a minute left, against, I believe it was, Shaquille Griffin, the highly paid free agent corner that they signed, just completely gets him at the catch point, stacks him on the route. I mean, he's been tremendous as a pure, like I said, vertical threat, and Matt Ryan just not able to hit him consistently. But in contested situations this year, 7 of 12. First touchdown of his career there was a massive one that I'm sure he'll remember for a long time. 274 yards in the season. Alec Pierce looks like they got something there in Indy.
That was sick. That catch was sick. I didn't give Kyrie Elam a dog of the week, but like I could have, simply just for how he had the interception. You and I were watching it. He truly just rips it from somebody. That reminds me of kind of like what I just saw with Alec Pierce, where Alec Pierce just got physical with him, created the separation, really tough over the shoulder catch, making it happen, winning the game at the end. That's what everybody dreams about doing. Incredible first touchdown of the career for Alec Pierce. Tony said Chase Claypool on third down, a dog of the week. Hate you for that, Tony. I'm going to see how we could ban you from this chat for that. William said Von Miller. I mean, Von Miller, absolutely one of those. Joe said Zadarius Smith, a dog. I almost put Zadarius Smith in here. I ended up not having him as a dog of the week because he got 11 pressures. He's now third in the NFL in total pressures with 29. He's having a fantastic year. I want to give him a shout out, but this past game was against Greg Little, and Greg Little has been one of the worst offensive tackles in the NFL this year when I was looking up Greg Little's grades and his pressure percentage allowed. So I didn't have him as a dog of the week this week, but I'm glad that somebody gave him a shout out because he absolutely deserves a shout out for what he's been able to do, especially coming back from that injury, right? A lot of people said, like, oh, he's never going to be the same guy, and he is playing well this year. So he is a big reason why the Vikings are having some success on the defensive side of the football. Sauce Garner. Kuba says Sauce, of course, has to be one. Zach says Breece Hall, same. Little Jets connection there. Quell says Nick Sirianni, a dog, for going 6-0 into the bye week.
Yeah.
It's a good shout out. I like that.
I wanted to do Dable. Dable was
you could have.
Dog.
You're allowed to do that.
Yeah, I guess good.
Yeah, you could have.
It's our show.
Just cowered it out. Callan said Alex Singleton, 19 solo tackles last night. Did you see that?
Yeah.
That's a lot of hits. That's a lot of hits. That's dog mentality when you're getting that many tackles. That is absolutely dog mentality. Okay, my second dog of the week. You went to the Colts game. You highlighted Alec Pierce. I'm going to go back to the Colts game, but I'm going to go to the other side of things. I'm going to go to the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm going to go to their other cornerback, the one that did not get beat for a TD there to end the game. Tyson Campbell, man. Tyson Campbell played incredibly well.
Yeah.
58 coverage snaps, which were the most coverage snaps of any player this week. And yet he garnered the number 1 coverage grade on the week. 92.2 coverage grade. That many coverage snaps, that high of a coverage grade is so difficult to do. Was targeted 3 times, only gave up 3 catches, only 8 yards. Wild, man. 56.3 quarterback rating when allowed. I think he had 2 forced incompletions as well on the day. Campbell was shutting dudes down. I had to give him a dog of the week for as much as they asked him to do in coverage, as much as he played, and for incredible as he was on one side of the field. He was shut down in his assignments this past weekend. So Tyson Campbell, got to give him a dog of the week.
Yes, have to agree with that. He's looked much improved from his rookie year. Had some flashes. Year 1, more consistent this season. You do my last dog of the week, though?
Yep.
I want to talk about this guy because he put on a show on Sunday against the Arizona Cardinals. It's Kenny Walker, the rookie running back, already looking
this is a good one.
Special out the gate. Averaging 5.85 yards per carry on the season. In this one, 97 yards on 21 carries and 12 broken tackles. The fake stiff arm? Are you kidding me? He was doing things that are not normal for the running back position, let's just say. Like his cuts, the ability to break tackles, the fake stiff arm were just a level of creativity that your run-of-the-mill, your average running back just doesn't have. Nope. And to lose a guy like Rashad Penny in the Seattle Seahawks and get Kenny Walker as your then full-time starter, who may even, I don't want to say he's better than Rashad Penny, but about the same level, Seahawks backfield loaded.
Dog. That fake stiff arm was
I've never seen that. I've never seen a move like that.
It's filthy.
I've never seen it, and it worked.
He just put up the hand, and the guy went for him just because he knew he was getting stiff arm. And he's like, "Whoop, no, just kidding." And then the guy's just like flailing. Unbelievable. No. Incredible creativity to be able to do that. I love it from Kenneth Walker. He's been having a fantastic last couple of years, going back to winning Doak Walker last year when he was with Michigan State. Rico the Pup shouting out Quinnen Williams. 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss, 3 QB hits, and a blocked kick. What does this man have to do to get props? So you just gave him props. Why just shout him out on the show? Quinnen Williams had an unbelievable day, and he's been having a really nice year. He is becoming that player, truly, that a lot of people believe that he had the potential to be when they drafted him as early as number 3 overall. Quell shouted out Tariq Woolen. I think the Pro Football Focus account also, you guys shouted out Tariq Woolen. The producer shouted out Tariq Woolen. I'm going to get to Tariq Woolen in a second. Mm-hmm. He's not my dog of the week because I'm giving Tariq Woolen even bigger props than just a dog of the week, and we're going to see that in the next segment that we do. A lot of people loving the Kenneth Walker love. Last one for me. Like I said, there's so many dogs of the week this week. Keep shouting them out if you're thinking of guys that we didn't name. But I cannot, in all good consciousness, not give one of my 3 dog of the week awards to Bengals wide receiver Jamar Chase. I have to. They're returning to Louisiana, playing in the Superdome. I think it's still called the Superdome, the Caesar Superdome, mm-hmm. Right? I can still call it the Superdome, even though marketing is ruining how we call stadium names. He was incredible, especially down the stretch. Overall in the game, 10 targets, 7 receptions, 132 yards, 2 touchdowns. He had 85 yards after the catch, 84 yards after contact, which goes into the dog of the week category. But this one too, 4th quarter alone, 3 targets, 3 catches, 75 yards, and that touchdown where he was able to get a comeback straight on the sideline, tiptoe, break the tackle, and put on the Jets. Tyrann Mathieu looked like he didn't know what just happened to him. Tyrann Mathieu's just sitting there on his hands and knees watching Jamar Chase waltz into the end zone after that for a massive Bengals win. It's not just the stats themselves, but it's how he got them and what he did for that team, especially that very last touchdown. That had to give it to Jamar. Had to give this last one to Jamar.
Bengals kind of adjusted, right? Like the offense looked different, a lot more shotgun, a lot fewer runs under center. The 2nd and long runs. They were putting it in Joe Burrow's hands, letting him go. And, 30 points. Best offense has looked all season.
Tyquan Thornton, dog. Victor wanted to shout out Tyquan Thornton. A little touchdown connection action. Bailey Zappi, a rookie to rookie. Love to see it. AI Bum said Baron Browning for sure. We give Baron Browning a little bit of shout out in the previous segment, but you could definitely call him a dog of the week. I think that one definitely works. Harrison Smith, dog. Is it true? We get Harrison Smith?
Yeah, the forced fumble.
Oh, okay. All right. Joe Burrow, dog. All right. Mitch Trubisky. I can't. Come on. I can't do this.
Kind of.
I mean, he was. I'm not gonna take that away from Mitch Trubisky. Last one here. This one's from Big Matt. Shouts out Hendon Hooker. Going back to college football, dog of the week.
Gotta be.
Really, we probably should have put Hendon Hooker in there for his performance against the Alabama Crimson Tide and what he was able to do there. All right. Time to revisit one of our favorite segments, a reoccurring segment that we have here. But now we have props. I almost just picked it up and dropped it.
Ooh.
It's crystal ball time, baby.
Should we look into it?
We are going to look into the crystal ball. I'm going to turn this bad boy on here so you guys can see it. We're going to look into our crystal ball for 4 different categories. And we're each going to tell you what we see in the crystal ball. So I got to see which one's first. I got to see which one is up first. Oh, Mike. It's one that's near and dear to your heart. Please don't be weird with it. I got to touch it too much of this. Come on.
I mean, my hands are clean.
Okay. So you do wash your hands a lot. That's good. Packers playoffs. When I say the word Packers playoffs, put your hand on the crystal ball. You tell me what you see. Are the Packers making the playoffs or are they not making?
I don't even need the crystal ball. The Packers are making the playoffs. What are we doing here? What are we doing? There's no good teams in the NFC. This defense is still good. Yes, they've gotten run on. I don't want to say you can fix the run game, but the run game can improve. Your run defense can improve with putting more resources into the run game. And they can do that because they have the secondary to do so. So I do think that the Packers' issues so far are solvable. They'll get better as their offensive line continues to get healthy, as we saw David Bakhtiari. Hopefully Elgton Jenkins continues to. Maybe some reshuffling up front in the mix with how Royce Newman's played. They're going to figure it out. Now, are they Super Bowl contenders? Like I said, preseason? Probably not. But this team still makes the playoffs.
All right. When I look into the crystal ball and I look at the Green Bay Packers, I don't see the playoffs right now. I do not see the playoffs. I get it. The NFC is bad, but look at the other teams as well. The Packers are sitting there at 3-3. Their defense, we talked about this on Sunday, soft right now. They can't stop anything. The easy stuff that other teams, other offenses are doing, they cannot match up from them, especially when it comes to on the ground. They haven't figured out things in pass protection. They haven't figured things out in the passing game. The wide receivers aren't all of a sudden going to become veterans of the game just in 8 weeks of the season. So you can have hope for this team, like a lot of people had going into the year. But I also think there are teams in the NFC that are playing better than we thought they were going to, right? Packers are sitting there at 3-3. Seahawks are also 3-3. Rams are sitting there at 3-3. Niners are sitting there at 3-3 with all the injuries that they have. Falcons are 3-3. Saints are only 2-4, but they haven't had their quarterback and their main offensive weapons there. Bucks are still 3-3, of course. Look at the NFC East. You've got the Cowboys at 4-2. You've got the Giants at 5-1. You've got the Eagles at 6-0. All of them have easy schedules being in that division because they share a lot of common opponents. That's my thing, is that it's not like I don't think the Packers can be one of the top 7 teams in the NFC. They can. But the win-loss record competition's a lot tighter than I thought it was going to be. So unless the Packers truly figure it out, it might not even be about the ceiling of what they can figure out to be this year. It's the other teams around them that they now have to think about. So I'm going to say no. As of right now, don't think the Packers are a playoff team.
We shall see.
All right. The next one, the next crystal ball topic that we have here, sticking in the NFC, we've got the Philadelphia Eagles. When you look at this wonderful, beautiful crystal ball, bought for $20 at Target.
I'll look into them.
What do you see for the Philadelphia Eagles' future? When are they going to get their first loss of the season? When's the first loss coming for the Philadelphia Eagles?
It's going to be a min. Mercury Morris ain't going to be popping bottles anytime soon, I will say that, because their schedule coming up, you got Steelers, Texans, Commanders, Colts, Packers, Titans, Giants, Bears, and then I have them losing Christmas Eve. Going to Dallas Cowboys, back at full strength, hopefully.
So you think that's the first loss that they have?
I think that's the first loss
December
they have.
24th.
Week 16. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, it's hard to kind of disagree with you. When I look at the crystal ball, when I look into this crystal plasma ball thing, I think I see week 11.
Okay.
They're in Indianapolis that week. Indy's obviously not the best team, but I am encouraged about what I saw this past weekend. Defense started playing with a lot of higher energy. Feels like they figured out something with Matt Ryan to maybe alleviate what were the deficiencies of that offensive line, getting the ball out of his hands a little bit quicker. Jonathan Taylor gets healthy, gets back in that lineup. I think that it looks a little bit different for them. That's week 11, though. I mean, right now, when you look at Philly's schedule, they're on the bye week this week in week 7. And then it is hosting the Steelers, at the Texans, hosting the Commanders. Then we go to Indianapolis. I think that that's probably their first loss. But, dude, after that, it's hosting Green Bay, hosting the Titans, at the Giants, at the Bears, and then at the Cowboys.
Yeah.
This team genuinely might lose 2 games all year.
It's a good team. It's a good team.
So I'm saying week 11 versus the Indianapolis Colts. You are saying week 16 is their first loss at Dallas. Very curious when people think the Eagles' first loss is going to be. Quell says never, 17-0. All right. Walt says never, but then also agreed with you, said Dallas. John Cole says 20-0, literally never going to lose. Drake says Indy's a weird team, but they could do it. That's one of those. It's almost one of those like I'm betting on something that I can't explain. Mm-hmm. You know, like there are those losses that happen every single year, every single week, where you just go, look at what the Colts did to the Chiefs earlier this year. You go, how in the world did that even happen? But it's the NFL. They're professionals. The margin for error is so low for these teams. So I'll say Indianapolis. You're saying the Dallas Cowboys there. Okay, next one. Defensive Rookie of the Year. When you look into your crystal ball, who do you see for Defensive Rookie of the Year? I don't know how to
turn back conference.
I don't know how to
turn. This one's pretty easy.
Okay.
Crystal ball had a real clear picture of a Jets uniform and one cheese head on top, unfortunately. Sauce Gardner is going to win Defensive Rookie of the Year. I think he's going to run away with it. One, because of how he's performed on the football field. We've discussed that ad nauseum. But 2, because everyone else is discussing it ad nauseum. Because his name he goes by Sauce. Because he's the most recognizable figure in this rookie class now. Because he plays in New York. Because everyone's going to talk about him. Tariq Woolen, other guys in this rookie class can do all they want from a performance perspective. But they're not going to have the name brand or the hype that Sauce Gardner does.
Well, you mentioned the name that I think that I'm going to see in this crystal ball. I feel very weird doing this, but I'm going Tariq Woolen, baby. Yeah. I'm going Tariq Woolen to win Defensive Rookie of the Year. What do these awards need, Mike? They need stats. Yes, they need hype.
True.
And Sauce is getting a lot of the hype here, but look at what we have for Tariq Woolen 6 weeks into this season. He's already got 4 interceptions, but more than that, you want to look at the context of those interceptions. They are all of his doing. These are not lucky interceptions. He is not getting a bounce here or there or a bad throw just straight into his lap. All 4 of the interceptions that he has, all of them, he has earned those interceptions. They're not flukes. And when you look at the other stats, 27 targets in coverage, most on Seattle. So that means that he's probably going to continue to get action because he is a rookie corner that their teams are going to go after. 95 coverage snaps in press alignment. That is 7th most in the NFL, not just for Seattle. That is 7th most in the NFL, which means he is getting up, he is getting close, he is sticking on the hips of these wide receivers from the start of the snap, and yet he is only yielding a 29.2 open target percentage, which is 11th in the NFL. All of those stats to me, how he got the interceptions and how other teams are going to continue to probably target him, not just amongst the other guys on his team, but also as a whole against the league, tells me that Tariq Woolen has the stuff to win Defensive Rookie of the Year. That's my pick. What say ye now?
I agree. He's 2. He's 2. I won't debate that. But again, it's a public-facing award where it's not us debating how well they play.
Yeah, but if he gets like
picks help. Picks do help.
Yes, they really help.
They really help.
How many picks does Sauce have right now?
Is it 1?
Do you have 1?
Yeah, I believe. Right.
I mean, what if he ends the year with 2 and Tariq Woolen's got like 8?
Well, then we revisit.
We're not going to revisit. We're not going to revisit. I'm looking into the crystal ball. That's what I'm doing.
Did Richard Sherman win Defensive Rookie of the Year when he came out? I need to go back and look that up.
I don't know.
Because he had like 7 or 8, right, as a rookie. I think he had his career high as a rookie. And then, but if he didn't win as the 5th round pick, then actually, no, he probably didn't because he was 11 class, which was Alden Smith. Alden Smith probably won.
Oh, yeah. Which,
Yeah.
I mean, that's understandable.
Yeah.
He had an insane amount of sacks in that rookie season.
Class.
All right, last one. Last one for the crystal ball segment. Giants quarterback in 2023. Do you see the main thing I'm asking here is, do you see Daniel Jones?
I don't. Daniel Jones, that's not a name coming to mind. I don't even see
sensual with that.
I don't even see blue, in fact. I'm seeing a different jersey altogether.
What are you petting a cat?
It's like a shade of
here?
blue. It's almost like purple. Is it
No.
Lamar Jackson?
No, Mike.
The quarterback of
What?
the Giants in 2023? I do think that the Lamar Jackson Ravens is headed towards a split at some point. I don't think they're going to give him the fully guaranteed contract that he wants. At that point, the Ravens, as we've seen throughout kind of their history, are always no bigger. The team is always bigger than the player. They are not going to change their ways for one guy. And as great as Lamar Jackson is, and he really is, this is not a great offensive roster around him. Like they to pay him as much as they're going to have to pay him, they may say, we don't have enough to, this is not going to get us to a Super Bowl. At that point, if you're the New York Giants, because look at the New York Giants and their options at the quarterback position. Daniel Jones, no. Even though he's, the offense performed well, he's still very much below average this season from a performance perspective. So not Daniel Jones. You're going to play your way out of this quarterback class in the draft. Where are you going to get that guy? That with Brian Dable and his creativity as an offensive play caller, I think he'd be chomping at the bit to get a guy like Lamar Jackson in that offense.
Potential 2023 free agent quarterbacks. You got Lamar Jackson, Tom Brady, Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Jimmy Garoppolo, Teddy Bridgewater, Daniel Jones, obviously, Geno.
He can't
Geno.
go back. He wouldn't go back to New York.
Yeah, come on, dude. It's a new era.
I don't think he would.
No.
Blaine
Gabbert, of course.
Okay.
Drew Lock.
Again,
look,
gotta make my point here.
It is no. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be Lamar. I don't think Lamar's getting out of Baltimore.
It was murky. It turned off too.
Your point stands of kind of where the Giants are. I have not Daniel Jones in there, but it is interesting because Jones is playing about as good as he ever has in his NFL career to this point. Does Joe Shane and Brian Dable, do they believe that means that he can be a franchise caliber type? No, I don't think that we're there, but they're 5-1. Their schedule's decently easy moving forward. Mm-hmm. Giants aren't going to pick in the top 10. They're not. So unless they're going to be moving up to try to trade for a team that's in the top 3 or 4 that doesn't need a quarterback, that wouldn't want Will Anderson or Jalen Carter, which is not going to be likely, they are in an interesting situation. I'll say not Daniel Jones, but it's kind of hard to see who else it would be outside of Geno. Geno's one that I've thought of if they let him out of Seattle, but Geno's kind of the only one that really makes sense that you would buy into if you're not buying into Jones.
Yeah.
That's a tough one.
It's tough. Right?
That was a tough setup. What's the chat think? What does the chat think? Hendon Hooker. Ooh. Beardman says AR-15, so Anthony Richardson. Walt says Gardner Minshew. I don't think that they would go from Daniel Jones to Gardner Minshew.
Is his contract up? I can't remember. I don't know.
I didn't see him on that list. Tyler Huntley, Jimmy G. I'm just listening off what the chat's saying here. Walt says Ravens will franchise Lamar Jackson if they can't re him up. I think so too. Ooh, Lewis says low key Justin Fields. Low key. He said low key.
That's an interesting one.
I actually don't hate that one.
That one's probably better than a lot of the other ones.
Bonker says Will Levis late first. Also, like maybe Tanner McKee.
He won't last late first. Levis has got fans.
All right. Okay. Well, that's it. We can turn it off now. Turn it on. We can save the battery. Make sure that we have enough life for the next time to do the crystal ball segments. Last thing before we get out of here, let's take a look at some early lines for Week 7. I highlighted 4 games, 4 lines, 4 road teams that I thought, these bets not only juicy, maybe these teams could end up actually winning these football games. We got the Giants at the Jaguars. Giants getting 3 points. Pretty crazy. Jets at Broncos. Jets also getting 3 points. Falcons getting 6 at Cincinnati. And then the Seahawks getting 6.5 at Los Angeles. The Chargers.
The Jaguars, 2-4, have a better point differential, actually, than the New York Giants this season.
Well, yeah,
5-1 New York
they had
Giants.
what was it, the 24-0 game,
Couple
and then
blowouts.
the 38-10 or something?
A couple blowouts and a few close losses in there. So that one's not crazy. In my opinion, you look on its face, why is it such a lopsided? Well, it's because the Jaguars have played some damn good football when they've been on, but they've also fired away some.
Yeah, but you know who else has? The New York Giants.
They haven't blown anyone out. They've won a lot of games, sure, but they've not looked dominant is kind of the difference there. The one I probably like the most out of those is going to be the Jets.
Getting 3 versus the Broncos.
They're kind of a wash at the quarterback position right now. I don't care what you think of Zach Wilson, but he hasn't been playing worse than Russell Wilson, and they got a running game going now. Breece Hall looks fantastic. Obviously, you're traveling 2 Mile High, always a little bit of a different animal, but going in different directions right now. I like the Jets now.
I'm a little bit worried about the Broncos' pass rush against the Jets' offensive line. Jets' offensive line has been better in run blocking lately. They've definitely been a team that's trying to impose their will and be more of a ground and pound team since Zach Wilson came back, especially. But I thought that line was interesting. The one that I like the most is Seahawks getting 6.5 against the Chargers. I don't know if the Chargers are built to blow out anybody right now. With the way that offense is going, with the injuries they have to both sides of the ball, I don't think the Chargers are this team that's going to absolutely destroy one of the highest rated quarterbacks that we have in Geno Smith and a team that's playing really well in Seattle.
Hopefully, though, getting Keenan Allen back this upcoming week.
Yeah,
hopefully.
Which would be huge for them. They definitely need a guy who can separate there. All right, can we get the question of the day? Can we get the answer to the question of the day? Well, before we get the answer, we'll say it one more time and we'll get our final answer in here. What was it? 3 quarterbacks? 3 active quarterbacks have thrown 55 or more passes in a single game and failed to record a touchdown. Who are these quarterbacks? The hint was 2 of them are on new teams. 1 of them is on the same team.
Okay.
I think Goff is a good guess.
I'll say Jared Goff. I'll say Matt Stafford, and then I'll say Tom Brady.
No, you can't. They've all switched.
Well, he could have done it with the Bucs.
Oh. Okay.
That's what I'll say.
All right, I will go Jared Goff.
'Cause I'm feeling like one of those Saints games. He maybe just started heaving, when they were behind.
I will go Jared Goff, Matthew Stafford, and Jameis Winston. No, because he couldn't have done it against the. He couldn't have done it as the Saints. I'll go Goff, Stafford, Dak.
Okay.
Those will be my 3. So we're a little different here on the set.
Do we have Quinn?
Walt says that Tom Brady is one of them.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
That's Joe.
Some people are saying Joe Flacco. People like Flacco as a guess. People like Carson Wentz as a guess. Matt Ryan. Ooh, Derek Carr. That's a good one, too.
All right, you guys ready?
Yeah.
Yeah, what is it?
All right, so it's Matthew Stafford with the Lions.
Yep.
Joe Flacco with the Jets. And Kyler Murray with the Cardinals.
Whoa.
I got it.
Kyler. Flacco's a good guess. Flacco is a good guess. I am surprised that Jared Goff is not one of those.
Yeah. Just felt like it'd be one.
Yeah.
Kyler did it earlier this year.
Really?
Yeah.
Man.
62 dropbacks.
Did anybody get it right?
I didn't see anybody get all
against
3.
The Rams.
Yeah.
Okay.
So chat champ is going to be Felipe Pio.
Hell yeah, Felipe.
Hope I'm pronouncing that right. He's always in the chat before the show. And he was one of the only people to agree with Tariq Woolen for Defensive Rookie of the Year, so we have to encourage that behavior.
That was propaganda by you guys behind the glass. The Tariq Woolen agenda today was propaganda from you guys. I just want everybody to make sure that
Go Hawks.
They know that. Yeah, Stone, big Seahawks fan back there. But, hey, I made the argument for him winning Defensive Rookie of the Year, and I genuinely believe it. They actually said in our Slack channel last night, some of the production people, they were like, oh, do Tariq Woolen's Defensive Rookie of the Year. And I'm like, I'm not going to do that. It's going to be sauce. But the more I looked it up, the more I saw those numbers, how much he plays press coverage, the actual interceptions and how they came about, and then his open target percentage. It's all there, man.
He's playing awesome.
He is going to continue to be a player who plays the type of coverage where you're sticky with guys forcing contested catches. And when that's the case, anytime you get the chance to turn around a little bit sooner before the ball's coming there, he's clearly got the ball skills to make it happen.
Yeah.
So I don't hate it. Really don't
Brady had 53 against New Orleans last year. 53 dropbacks, not 55.
So close, Walt. Walt said that it was that Tom Brady had to be one of them, so he had 53.
Yeah.
So close for you, so close for Walt. Big shout out to Felipe. Let's go. Chat champ. Make sure you got to be in the chat tomorrow. It's not trivia day tomorrow, but we've got some fun planned for tomorrow. It's going to be a fantastic show. Y'all got to get in here. Get in here early. I want to keep the tradition alive. Get in the chat. Random NFL player. Boom. Let's name it. Let's get the conversation going. Show off how much you know about your team. It doesn't have to be a random NFL player that's playing right now for your team. It could be anybody in the 2010s. We can talk early 2000s. You can talk 1990s. You can go back as far as you want. Name a random NFL player. Let's start the tradition. I absolutely loved it. I'm Trevor Sikkema. That is Mike Renner. For everybody in the production suite, thank you guys so much for watching It's Just Football. We will see you right back here, same time, 11 a.m. Eastern tomorrow. See you guys then.
It's not about politics, it's about football.
This is a simple game.
We're going to run the ball, and we're going to pass the ball. He's just going to play football, really.
How good of a football player are you?
I just get in and try to spin it. That's all.
I just love the game.
It really is the best time of the year.